You know what we should talk about today?
What?
New Year's resolutions.
We should talk about New Year's resolutions. It's a good idea. You're listening to Rise Above, a Rogers Behavioral Health podcast, where we sit down with Rogers experts who are changing the way the world views mental health and addiction. So as you heard in the intro before the intro, today is all about New Year's resolutions. And why? Well, not only is the start of a new year coming really soon, but more importantly, because this is the year. This is the year that you're going to get your resolution done, or at least that's what you're going to tell yourself. And by February, in a lot of cases, myself included, back to your old ways. So why is it that every year our resolutions seem destined to fail? And more importantly, what can we do to finally make lasting change and make resolutions that we can achieve? So if you're like me and you're hoping that this is the year, hopefully our guest today can shed a little light on that. So on that note, I've got Dr. Heather Jones, Vice President of Clinical Services at Rogers Behavioral Health, back with me again. Dr. Jones, thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you.
So now the last time we spoke, we were talking about the stress of the holidays. And right before we stopped speaking, we talked about New Year's resolutions, and you told me something interesting. And what was that?
That we should do a podcast together about how people fail to meet their New Year's resolutions, because that would be really interesting.
Now, to be clear, you didn't say that my New Year's resolution was going to fail. You just said that everyone's New Year's resolution is going to fail.
I mean, statistically, yours is probably going to fail, but after you listen to this podcast, It may not fail.
Got it. So why would you say that people's New Year's resolutions fail even when they have good intentions?
Yeah. How nerdy do you want to get in my answer? Because there are ways that people set goals and New Year's resolutions, like I am going to run a marathon next year, and they are lofty and maybe not particularly attainable, and we're setting expectations for ourselves that are maybe slightly out of reach. So that's one thing that we can talk about. And the other is the neuropsychology in our brain, which I think is fascinating, but it's the holiday time. Sometimes like New Year's is coming up, you're hanging out with friends, and our neurotransmitters are eliciting a lot of dopamine, which is our happy chemical. And so we're just like having a great time. And what happens about this time of year, as we're going into the new year, is that our prefrontal cortex is the front part of our brain right here, is the part of our brain that helps us with setting and pursuing goals, impulse control, emotion regulation, forward planning, the types of things that we need to get through our lives. And we are like on a dopamine high right now. And so we're like, you know what? I'm going to head into the new year and I'm going to do all of these things. And then we're counting down into the new year. We wake up the next morning.
I feel like you're attacking me right now. This sounds exactly like what I do.
But right, we wake up the next week or the next day, and we're like, oh, I just set this New Year's resolution.
Like, I guess I actually do have to go to the gym now, or nah.
Right. And typically our aspirations or our goals, while we're in that goal setting, dopamine rush, are really aspirational. They're vague. They're, maybe not well thought through, impulsive, perhaps.
Gonna read 300 books next year.
That's right. And then the way that our brain works and that dopamine comes in waves. And so there are times where we're like, yes, feeling it, I'm going to do it. And then it wears off. And then we're like, oh, I'm not feeling really great about this goal. And that's how we wind up in these situations.
Right. Well, Yep. What is it? I resemble those comments.
I, you're feeling it,
Yeah.
feeling a connection to this story.
So why, in your opinion, or maybe why is New Year's the time when people make these resolutions?
Well, it's a season of new beginnings, fresh starts, right? It's all over the media. There's sort
Mhm.
of this cultural trend. There are conversations, podcasts being done about setting New Year's resolutions.
Again,
And
I
so
feel attacked.
there's there's sort of this perpetual um, conversation about starting over in the new year.
Sure. And now, I guess can like the idea of a fresh start actually be setting people up for a failure then?
Well, I think the idea of a fresh start can set people up for failure. It's typically because, as I mentioned, setting unrealistic, non-specific goals. And really, what I'd love to talk about is how do we set up quality goals? How do we really spend some mindful time thinking about change in our lives?
So, okay, fine. Message received. How do we set up realistic goals?
So first I want to we'll talk about goal setting. And
Okay.
I'm super excited because I'm gonna use an example from your life.
I'm gonna change my life this New Year's. I
I'm
can feel it.
gonna be there with you. First I want to talk about habits and the way that our brains work. So the function of habits is really neurobiologically, our brains are wired to save energy by working efficiently and effectively. So our brains are going to always want to take the shortest distance between point A and point B, which is why it is hard to change behaviors. Because if you're used to doing point A, point B, point A, point B, and then you're like, actually, C would be a little bit
Mhm.
healthier, maybe better for my well-being, your brain's like, no, I'm really good A to B. So when we set New Year's resolutions, we're actually trying to interrupt our brain's default systems, which is why they often fail. But the good news is that our brains have neuroplasticity, which means that we really can have more control over this than it seems. We just have to make sure that we feed our brains a plan that our brains can thrive with. So our brains thrive on detailed, concrete plans and step-by-step sort of instructions on I know whether or not I'm achieving this. Because
Mhm.
again, our brains are wanting that dopamine rush of achievement.
Sure.
So let's parlay that habit setting framework into how do we set goals. So has anyone talked to you about SMART goals in the
I'm
past?
I mean, professionally, yeah.
So SMART goals, people have different acronyms for what the SMART goals are, but we talk about SMART goals in they are specific, measurable, appealing, realistic, and time bound.
Got it.
So give me something that you would like to change or a goal that you have.
I would really like to start going back to the gym. I have a membership. It's gathering dust.
All right, we can work with that. And probably very common to folks that are
Yeah.
listening around this time of year. And so let's run that through specific. Like, so going to the gym, I can understand what that means. Is it measurable? It's measurable, right? You go to the gym or you don't go to the gym. How about appealing? How appealing is it for you to go to the gym?
Unless I've got a good TV show to watch while I'm on the treadmill, it's not very appealing at all.
Okay, awesome. But you bring up a really good point about having environmental factors that help to reward behaviors that are hard to engage in.
Hmm.
So we talk about goal setting and behavior change in there's a term called habit stacking. So how do I achieve a behavior or a goal? I have to set up a whole bunch of little pieces of that goal, a whole bunch of steps in that behavior change in order to achieve the going to the gym. So how do we build our environment and manipulate our environment to make it easier to achieve our goal? So some things that I would suggest is when we're going to go back to measurable. When are you going to go to the gym? Is it every day? Is it once a week? What do you think?
Oh my, are you asking me for real?
Yeah, we're for real doing this.
Oh my goodness. Let's say every other day.
Okay. Every other day.
I would like for it to be more, but I don't see that as a realistic goal.
Okay, I like that you're thinking about what is achievable. So I'm going to also ask you about what about weekends? So every other day, and we have 7 days. So every other day means that sometimes it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, then it's going to
Hmm.
be Tuesday. So it's going to change every week. Is that
That's not a great idea.
ah,
But weekends are absolutely fine. Let's go on the weekend.
okay.
That's when I've got the most free time.
All right. So I would suggest for you as you're working out this goal is to get in the weeds, right? This is why when you're at the New Year's Eve
I see.
party and you're like, I'm gonna go to the gym, but really you haven't thought through like, do you have shoes? What days are you gonna go? How we've got to really plan through the details to be
So instead
achievable.
of making just that one giant statement, it is a plan, like
A
a
plan.
full on plan and not, yeah, I could
Mhm.
see if without a plan, not achieving any goals.
Yes. And now let's talk about that environmental and habit stacking piece. What are you going to do Sunday night to ensure? Well, first of all, what time of the day are you going to go to the gym?
Oh
Morning,
my.
evening? It's a lot to think about.
So much to think about. Every day I think today's the day my alarm's going off at 5 and I'm going to go to the gym before I get ready
Morning.
for work and it
Perfect.
never happens.
Okay. I've got some
Ever.
tips for you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Are you open to tips on this?
I mean, yeah, is the first one go to bed earlier?
Okay, maybe. I've got a couple more.
Okay.
Where is your alarm clock?
It's it's next to me. It
Yeah,
is reachable in bed.
put it in the bathroom
Okay.
on top of, I mean, like put it in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then we got to get your shoes, your sweatpants, your workout clothes, your bag, your water bottle, whatever it is,
Lay it out.
lay it out in the bathroom or wherever, like
Yeah.
where you have to trip over it. And by engaging in some of these environmental manipulating components of your environment, it makes it harder not to, right? Like once you
Aha.
are vertical out of bed and in your bathroom, you're like, well, my stuff's already right there. It'd
Hmm.
be a lot of effort to walk over it and go back to go to bed.
And I suppose things like this you could apply to all sorts of resolutions, like eating healthier, or
Yep.
what other resolutions do people have?
Eating healthier,
Yeah.
reading more.
Oh
The
yeah, yeah.
the key is to really be planful.
Mm.
If your
Yeah.
plan is to eat healthier even if your SMART goal is to eat 2 servings of vegetables 6 out of 7 days a week for a year, one of the things that you need to make sure you have in your house is
Vegetables.
vegetables.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Otherwise,
sense.
it's easier to replace that steamed broccoli with a Twix bar.
Yeah, real easy. It's you don't even have to steam it. It's prepared.
It's all ready to go.
So I guess better to focus on smaller goals,
Yes.
break them down. Whatever goal you have, you break it down into smaller pieces and set yourself up to succeed.
Set
Where
yourself up
I
for
have been
success.
doing the opposite, and I feel like most people do the opposite.
Absolutely.
And we will be right back. Real quick, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about WISE, the Initiative for Stigma Elimination. It unites people across the nation to support those touched by mental illness and addiction. The compassionate approach champions personal stories and powerful connections, fostering healing by reducing stigma through evidence-based practices. Rogers Behavioral Health supports the work of WISE through their Community Learning and Engagement Department. WISE collaborates with a diverse network of organizations and individuals united in the fight against stigma. You can learn more about WISE, explore their 4 key programs, and connect with them by visiting the website www.eliminatestigma.org. And now back to the interview. So let's say you have the best intentions. You are on your way, and all of a sudden you kind of get derailed. You're like 3 weeks in. It is almost February. You have been going to the gym. You have been doing whatever it is, and then you kind of stop. How do you give yourself the compassion to start again, I guess?
Yep. So I am a big James Clear fan. He wrote the book Atomic Habits, and his core idea is by improving 1% each day, we can achieve significant results. And I think New Year's resolutions can really trigger a lot of feelings of guilt, failure, especially when those dopamine aspirations were super high and it's easy to fall
Oh
short of
yeah.
them. So my recommendation, I love that you said compassion and self-compassion, I think is a really important concept when anytime that you're setting goals. So focus on small changes. Maybe some days you're achieving a 5% change. Maybe other days it's a 0% change. And so the goal is to have compassion with yourself and to be committed to shaping and changing behavior over time, and making sure that if we don't achieve our expected target, to use, instead of falling into self-blame or self-deprecation or all of those yucky things, that we use those opportunities to embrace learning. So I was going to the gym, I was doing a great job, and then I got sick, right? 'Tis
Mm.
the season. And then I didn't go to the gym for a while. Can I allow myself some grace to say it was okay that my body needed to rest? It was okay that I gave myself a break to let my body heal and fight this bacterial infection
Right.
or viral
Right.
infection. And then to say, and now my next mini goal is that I am going to wake up on Tuesday and go back to the gym. And maybe I won't run and lift and do all the things, or maybe I'm just going to go walk on the treadmill.
Hmm.
I just need to get myself back into that environment.
Kind of gaining your habits back in a way.
Yeah. And getting
Slowly.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I found this quote in preparation of talking to you, and I just love it. My girls went to see Wicked
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and a quote from John Powell is, "The only real mistake is one from which we learn nothing." And I just really felt that was great, because it's really not a mistake. It's just that it's a learning, right? Like if I am learning from setbacks that I have in my life, then the optimistic view of that is I can make changes to avoid setbacks in the future.
I like that. And I saw Wicked this weekend, and I didn't hear that. Was that in the movie?
It wasn't in the movie.
Oh, okay. Um, well, I like that a lot. Now, I feel like you're kind of bringing up my next question, which was about like finding the motivation. So, oh,
Mm,
I've taken a week off. How do I regain that motivation, or how do I find it in the first place?
yeah, I love talking about motivation. It is incredibly difficult to measure and becomes a really challenging concept when we're talking about New Year's resolutions and goal setting.
Mm,
Now, why do I like to talk about it?
yeah.
So behavior precedes motivation. Behavior precedes motivation. So what I mean by that is, let's consider an example of a runner. It's tough to get out of bed in the morning and get your shoes on and go running. Ugh.
Yeah.
However, once people start running, their body releases endorphins. I get those pleasure-based neurotransmitters flowing throughout my brain, and I feel this sense of reward. And thus there over time becomes this positive loop between doing the thing that I didn't want to do, but I feel really good
Mm,
after I do it. So when I was working as a therapist here, and I was seeing kids, and they were, maybe not wanting to get out of bed in the morning, and we would talk about this concept that you need to elicit change in your body. You need to behave in order to feel motivated to continue to behave. So I would say to people, don't wait to feel motivated. Motivation does not transcend from above upon you and elicit change in your body. You are that change to set aside those thoughts, set aside those emotions, and go through kind of the mechanicalistic behaviors of doing the next right thing.
I definitely feel that because, yeah, like you said, running, getting up in the morning, going for a run is awful. But
Yeah.
when you're done,
When you're done, it's
you
like,
feel so great.
yes, I will tell you, I I run with a friend of mine. And we have trained for a couple of half marathons and run a couple of half marathons. And it's funny, this concept played itself out this last summer when we were training on our long run, right? And training runs aren't fun because you're just out there running a lot.
And it's like for hours.
It's a lot of time. It's a commitment. It is a life commitment, Andy. It is. And she said to me, like, I am never running again. And then we had our race. We ran our last half marathon this summer. And she's like, let's sign up for a full marathon next year. So like this is a perfect example of
Yeah,
that endorphin dopamine rush. And we're like, yes, let's
that
do the
is.
thing. But it all started by getting out of bed in the morning and putting our shoes on.
So make a plan, achievable goals, put your shoes on in the morning or
Put
whatever,
your shoes on.
So what advice would you give someone who's feeling discouraged because they've already failed their New Year's resolution? It's February and they are like 92% of the population and they have failed.
I would immediately just reframe it as it isn't a failure.
Hmm.
So we might have to reevaluate. Was our goal achievable? Are we capable of executing that goal? Are there things in our environment that got in the way that we need to change? So I would just use it as an opportunity to reevaluate, reassess, and problem solve. And I think there isn't benefit in sitting in that failure and sort of self-blame and deprecation. Um, and there's just opportunity to press the reset button. And no one needs to wait until January 1st, by the way, to press the new reset button.
Can I just tell you, I spend so much time like, oh, I'm gonna start going to the gym. And now that it's getting close to the end of the year, I'm putting it off because like I can wait. I can wait
Mm,
till January, right? Like that'll be my New Year's resolution. I don't have to
uh-huh.
go to the gym all December. I'm like pushing off these things
Oh,
and
you could just start tomorrow.
I don't wanna,
Oh, but after,
but I
Andy,
should.
I would say, well, how are you going to feel once you're done at the gym?
I'm gonna feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
probably will.
a little bit of yuck for a whole lot of good.
Oh shoot. You're convincing me to go to the gym tomorrow, maybe even today.
Maybe today.
So on that note, have you had New Year's resolutions in the past and have you failed? Have you ever failed at a New Year's
Yes,
resolution?
yes, yes, I've set them, and yes, I've failed. I probably at all of them, frankly.
Yeah,
I mean, I've set New Year's resolutions about things I will eat, things I will do, things I won't do.
we all have.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I stopped setting New Year's resolutions, honestly. I actually do my best to align my behavior with my personal values. If there is something that I want to do or change, I kind of do that assessment that we were talking about.
Hmm.
I make sure that if I'm going to make a change, I do a couple of things. One, I think about what is connected with my personal values. So, being a better mom, um, communicating my emotions with my husband, spouse, um, things that, having a stronger relationship, having a healthy body, like exercising, like these things. And I make sure that they're connected to my values because I know that they are then harder to abandon because it's something that's really important to me. And it has to be deeply important to me and not deeply important to someone else, right? Like sometimes you set New Year's resolutions, we're like, oh, my friend is doing this thing, like, oh, I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
And it may not really actually be important. It may be important externally, but it might not actually be important to that person. So that's,
Like you're
yeah,
not getting in shape for other people, you're getting in shape for yourself. Or you're
yeah,
not eating healthier for other people, you're eating healthier for yourself. There's
yeah. And you're not, and maybe even can take it a step further, like I'm not getting in shape because I want to appear great in my swimsuit at spring break in March, but I'm going to go to the gym because it's important for me to have a healthy body because I want to be able to be active with my grandchildren someday, or, like bigger, deeper, meaningful values.
These are all really great things to think about, and I'm gonna think about them. And truly, you might have convinced me to go to the gym today. So kudos if that was your goal.
I'm going to check in with you tomorrow. I like that. And that is what we call public accountability, which is also effective.
Wow, we didn't even get into that. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I learned a lot. I feel like I could maybe achieve a goal this year.
You can
Yeah,
achieve lots of goals, big ones, little ones. You've got
as
everything
long
it
as they
takes.
mean something to myself and I make a
Yeah.
plan. And what else? Make a plan. Don't make impulsive resolutions.
Don't make impulsive goals.
And connect my goals to my personal values.
Yeah, you
Great.
got it.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I look forward to the next time. I'm sure you'll come up with an interesting topic for us to talk about.
I look forward to it too.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye, thanks. I have to admit, keeping a New Year's resolution does sound a bit easier when you take into account all of those tips. And for the record, I did go to the gym after speaking with her. Was that the last time I've been to the gym since then? Maybe. But, the new year is right around the corner, and there's always a chance for a new beginning, right? This will be the year. I'll just keep telling myself that. And with that, thank you for listening to Rise Above, a podcast from Rogers Behavioral Health. Be sure to like and subscribe to be notified of new episodes. And as always, if you or someone you care about is struggling with a mental health or substance use disorder, visit rogersbh.org for a free mental health screening.